What is hyperinflation? It is when the price of goods and services rise more than 50% in a given month. Hyperinflation means the price of something in the morning would cost more in the afternoon. Hyperinflation starts when the country's government begins printing or borrowing money to pay for its spending. As the cycle of printing or borrowing money continues, goods and services cost more. To keep from paying more in the future, citizens begin hoarding, which in turn creates shortages. As people hoard perishable goods, such as bread, milk, or produce, these daily supplies become scarce. The downward spiral continues, causing hyperinflation. Hyperinflation example. Following World War I, between 1918 and 1924, the German government kept printing money. Doing so, the price of money increased, causing the exchange rate to rise from 4 Deutsche Marks to more than 1 trillion Deutsche Marks for $1. 1 trillion means the number 1 followed by 12 zeros. 1 trillion seconds equal 31,546 years. Many generations will have come and gone over the 1 trillion seconds. Consider a football field from goal post to goal post, filled with $100 bills stacked a little over 7 feet high. That is just under $1 trillion. Returning to the German exchange rate. Think of that football field being filled with 100 D-Marks bills and not $100 bills. In 1924, that football field of D-Marks was equal to $1. Could a person carry a football field of bills to buy a loaf of bread at the bakery? The German government started printing higher denomination bills. 1,000 marks, 1 million marks, 1 milliard marks. A milliard is known as 1 billion in the US. 1 billion marks. A billion is known as 1 trillion in the US. This 1 billion mark bill replaced the football field of $1 trillion. Even then, wheelbarrows and baskets were used to carry money to the market. The lower denomination bills became worthless, being used as wallpaper, as fuel for fire. Clothing. Children played with money, even making and flying kites, made of the worthless money. During this period, production collapsed, leading to a shortage of goods, especially food, because there was excess cash in circulation, and few goods. The price of everyday items doubled every 3.7 days. The inflation rate was 20.9% per day. Remember, the definition of hyperinflation is the inflation rate goes over 50% in a given month. Farmers, and others who produced goods did well. However, most people lived in severe poverty. Take note, when a country starts printing or borrowing massive amounts of money, that could be an early sign of hyperinflation. Let's take a moment and examine the US national debt. In 1837, at the end of Andrew Jackson's administration, the national debt was $336,000. Remember, the football field. A stack of $100 bills for $336,000 would be about 1.5 inches high. Over the next 144 years, the national debt continued to slowly accumulate. By 1981, at the beginning of Ronald Reagan's administration, the national debt was just under $1 trillion. Since then the debt continued to rapidly increase. A yellow line was added at each $5 trillion level to help to separate the mounting debt. On January 20, 2021, the day President Biden took office, the U.S. national debt was just over $27 trillion. Within weeks of his inauguration, the national debt grew to over $28 trillion. In early March, the U.S. House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate passed H.R. 1319, the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Act, also known as the Coronavirus Stimulus Bill. which will bring the debt to about $30 trillion. On the near horizon is the climate and infrastructure bill, which would add another $2 trillion to the US national debt, making it about $32 trillion. One may ask, where will the money come from? At the beginning of this lesson, we learned hyperinflation is caused by printing and borrowing money. An interesting internet site is the US Debt Clock, at usdebtclock.org. In the upper left is the US national debt. Skip over the box to the right, to the debt per taxpayer box. That $223,893 is the debt each US taxpayer is responsible for. You may notice, most of the information is rapidly changing. This real-time clock contains a plethora of information, well worth investigating. We covered a lot of information today. Until next time, make it a goal to learn something new daily. This concludes our hyperinflation lesson.